Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of A Card Subject to Change. I am Shawn Donavan. I am joined by, for the very first time, a very casually dressed Darius Carter. And by Danny Maff, who is sporting his Front Row Mafia custom baseball jersey. I didn't get mine, just saying. Anyway. And we are not sponsored, but today's drink of choice, we've got Jack Daniel's original recipe, Tennessee Honey. So
beautiful.
Now that we've got those introductions out of the way, I left us with a cliffhanger last time with a quote that I wanted to kind of start us off with today and see the direction that it goes in. But the quote was, there's a big difference in going over and getting over. I'm going to start with you, Danny. Well, I always call you Maff. You find it weird when I call you Danny, but what's your take on the difference of going over versus getting over, where I think a lot of wrestlers sometimes they have trouble understanding what those two things mean, because I think sometimes a lot of people think that when they go over, that means they're already over. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts in that regard?
That's an interesting topic. I like that.
Well,
spicy.
Okay.
So we started hot. We don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a subject that hits me real nice, because I feel like you don't always have to go over to get over. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is what this is about. But, I think this is also a subject where maybe the younger upcoming generation that's coming up now could really, really benefit from this. So my perspective is, okay, if I'm working Darius, okay, and I'm coming in to Darius's territory, to his promotion where he's a champion and I'm just a visitor, okay, Darius is going to go over. Obviously, he's the champion, and I'm going to go in there with a responsibility to put the champion over. The champion also knows he's going to go over. Now, my goal is to possibly come back, okay, and get so over that the promoter has no choice but to bring me back, okay? So with me knowing that and Darius being the professional that he is, we're going to do exactly that. Mm-hmm. So Darius is going to go over. He's going to establish his dominance. He's going to establish that he is the champion and he won. But Darius is also going to help me get over. And I'm going to leave those fans wanting more. And that's the difference between getting over. Mm-hmm. I've walked into places where, it's like almost silent. And then when you leave, they're saying, please come back. That's how you get over. Mm-hmm. And I always say this to kids, once you're over, you're over. Once you're over, you're over, man. It's plain and simple. Once you're over, you're over. And, you could be a champ, you can have all these belts, but if you don't have a presence and you're not over with them,
you're just another guy in the ring with a title belt.
So, yeah.
What's your thoughts, Darius? Same thing?
That was well said.
I don't even know if I can even try to. He kind of just explained the right way.
He did.
Exemplary. Pontificating.
I think some people, listen, just winning the match doesn't mean that you're going over, and that's the point here. Some people get so caught up in a win or a loss, and they're like, oh, well, if I lose, I'm not going to be over. They're not the people aren't going to buy it. It's like, that's part of the story. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can lose and still win. You know, I always talk about like the Undertaker WrestleMania effect, where it's like every single person that went in there with Undertaker at WrestleMania came out better. You know, Randy Orton, you could talk about 21. These people, their careers literally improved from that. SummerSlam and Survivor Series and all these pay-per-views after, they were getting more play. You can get more over. You can reap benefits of losing a match, because sometimes it's about the effort, sometimes it's about coming this close, sometimes it's about telling that story of, oh man, like he showed that he's a main event player, he showed up today. You know, maybe you weren't high up on the card before, maybe you weren't a particularly someone that was going to close a show, someone that was going to be put in that position, but they put you in there with me, or they put you in there with Maff, or they put you in there with you for that mission of, hey, let's see if this person can go. And if this person can go, now I know, hey, you know what? Maybe I could make him a challenger for the title. Maybe I could actually put the title on him. You know, maybe I could put the company on his back if he keeps showing up like this. That's the objective of what we're doing here. You know what I mean? Win or lose, my mission is to make sure that people want to see you again. I want people to invest in you again. That's my victory. My victory is seeing you get more people to come to the show, seeing more people to get to click the likes and the retweets on your social media, just because they're more engaged with what we're doing. That's the benefit that I get out of that, the greatest benefit. Win or lose, whatever we have to do for the story. If I'm champion and the win is the win, then the win is the win. But understand that I'm going to make sure that you are not in the same place that you entered. That's professionalism.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, what I see a lot of times in locker rooms over the years, especially now because the generation's different, you know, we've all seen it, right? You have that young talent that's gung-ho, and then they don't see their name underlined on the board, and sometimes they don't know how to just kayfabe that real feeling, and there's that poutiness, and you can just get the vibe of like, why am I losing to this guy? Without recognizing that, again, you should always go out there, right? It's the difference of you could be sitting at home, but you're booked.
Right.
So whether you're given 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like I've said in I think our first episode, maximize your minutes. Okay, you're not going over, but that's your opportunity to show up, show everything you have, get over with that crowd even more if you haven't a little bit, and figure out what the right way is with that dance partner of, hey, let's do business, but what can I do to get myself over? Because you can't always trust, and I don't mean this in a negative way, you can't always trust the person you're working with that they're going to help you get over, right? Some people have a certain mentality.
And that's not always the position either.
Right.
Sometimes
exactly.
They're not
in that position.
In that position it's our job as the veteran specifically.
Right. Unless otherwise said by the promoter, right? Where they're saying, hey, you're going to work this guy, you're my champion, I need this to be 70-30.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But if there's no barrier on that, then yeah, as the veteran, you should say, okay, I'm going up, so what can I do to now help this performer? And if you're going to put that effort in, that young talent now has to meet you halfway and hold up their end of the bargain. And they have to, when they're given an opportunity like that, they have to elevate themselves. They have to come up to your level a little bit. Yes, I understand with certain deficiencies in a performer, you may have to come down a little bit. But it should always be that person striving to get better where they need to lift themselves up to that level, right? The best example I can give personally, right? And I say this with all due respect, right? You know, being at WrestlePro for a number of years, I was always used as that utility player, right? And I'm okay with that, right? I can be a chameleon. I can adapt to any role you put me in, right? But then, you know, the opportunity came, right? I use this match as the example, right? Number of years ago, right, just before the world shut down, right, Danny gets signed to Ring of Honor. They gave him free reign of who he wants for his last match in Raw, right?
I'm so happy that day.
I had never main evented Rahway. Always wanted to. It's to me, that building has so much history, right? He chose me, and forever grateful. But I knew I had to step up to his level that day because of who he is and what he is to that building and to that company, right? And what he did for me that night twofold, right? He kind of made me a made person for that company and gave me the opportunity to show everybody, hey, this guy's more than just a utility player. He can go. Trajectory just moved up from that standpoint, right? So I give you the most respect. I tell you all the time how much I appreciate that opportunity because you could have picked anybody. You chose me for that opportunity, and that will always live in my heart as it is the best match that I've ever had from an emotion standpoint, from an in-ring standpoint, and from a storytelling standpoint. But I knew that it wasn't your job to bring yourself down to me. It was my job to bring myself up to your level, match your intensity, match your aggression, match your body language, and show these people, okay, the fans in attendance are going to see a completely different person than what they saw prior to that. And if young wrestlers continue to do things like that, the sky is the limit for everybody. I think sometimes the younger generation just gets caught up too much thinking that they're over just because they're getting a certain chant versus getting the people invested in you. And I definitely want both of your opinions on this because
He's
already done. I'm babysitting this glass right now.
I took one sip.
Yep. So my point to that is, right, how many times have we been on events and shows, right, and the matches get the "this is wrestling" chant, "this is awesome" chant, right? And how many times have we seen guys come back to the locker room saying, man, that was great. We were so over. Listen to that crowd. And to a degree, you might be, right? My philosophy of wrestling is this. If they're chanting, this is awesome and this is wrestling, to me, they're paying attention to what is going on in the ring from a move standpoint. And it's from that niche audience that they're hardcore fans, right? They to a degree think they understand how the industry works. To me, I was always brought up of, if I'm the villain, if that crowd is not chanting my opponent's name, are they over? If they're not booing me, am I over? So my whole philosophy is always the moves are secondary. If the fans are going to chant, it's because they have a vested interest in the performer's character or personality, and they buy into that person to a point where if it's the right time in that match and you snap on a nasty hold and you wait for the crowd to come up, they should be chanting that person's name.
They're along for the ride.
That's just my philosophy. Like, you can't stop a crowd from chanting, this is wrestling or this is awesome, because it could very well be they're invested in everything. They're invested in both personalities. They're invested in the story of what's going on in the ring. But how many times have we seen guys just go out there and just do moves and not put anything over, and the crowd is chanting, this is awesome or this is wrestling? How many times does that happen for that said performer? If they go from town A, will they get that same reaction in town B?
That's the point.
Right.
Well, that's over.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go back to what you were saying because it was very interesting. You gauged in on the Taker effect. Very true. Whoever he worked at Mania. Listen, if you were on the program with Take, you know what I mean? It was a privilege. Okay. I look at it the same way as Ric Flair, right? Ric Flair had a very difficult responsibility to go to every territory that he went to, but I guarantee you that every territory that he went to, he fought, he worked that guy.
That top baby face at every
baby.
territory. Because that's where
And
I was going to go, but I'm
guarantee you,
giving that's on you
when
now.
Flair left, the stock on that baby
Was through the roof.
Come on.
was through the roof.
Let's talk about it.
Because
Okay.
and
another guy that that I would mirror this conversation is, you don't have to go over to get over. Is Tommy Dreamer. BCW, the heart and soul of BCW. You could probably count
Hey, how
on
many
both
times
hands how many times Tommy went over.
Right.
But when you said ECW, he was leading the charge.
yes.
Okay, it was him, it was Sandman, it was Sabu, you know what I mean?
Raven.
But listen, Dreamer
Yeah.
was the horse pulling the carriage.
Yeah, if you look back at that time period, right, that whole story with Raven evolved over so many years.
And how many of those matches did Dreamer win?
None, and that was the whole thing behind it. Every time he got close, he had the rug pulled out from underneath him, which gave him more, not just credibility with the crowd, more sympathy. But you saw that rise and that level of there's lots of baby faces in that locker room, but that's our
the guy.
That's our guy.
If you're a true heel to the core, worth your salt. Okay. You're coming into a locker room and you have that predator like vision.
And you're looking for who that.
You're looking. Give me a fucking baby that can work.
Where are they at?
Give me a
Where
most
are they
over
at?
fucking guy. Okay.
Looking
And you
for
know
him.
something, man? I want to work him. Or you know what? Or he's not over. Give him to me. I'm gonna get him over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the responsibility of what veterans need to do more. And I say this again, no disrespect to anybody on the indies, but how many of those guys of what you just said are that confident
In themselves.
of themselves to do that? Because
on the indies right now.
yeah,
They're standing in this room.
yeah. And that's, that's a good opinion there. But what I say that from, and I respect that, but like a lot of times guys go into a locker room and they're just trying to protect themselves, because to me, when I look at that, my viewpoint of that is you are not confident in yourself that you know how to lose as a heel and be able to walk out and still keep your heat. To me, that is the biggest thing I see that is wrong on the indies. Guys say, I'm a heel, but they go out and they match move for move, hold for hold. But just because they can tell the crowd to shut up, that makes them a heel. Same thing on a babyface level, right? Well, I do all this cool stuff. I should be going over. Like, again, if you're confident in your work as a babyface, you should know how to lose and keep your shine.
Right. Be remembered. Be
Right.
remembered. Do something that makes the crowd say, I need to come back and see this person. If I come back to this show, here's the promotion's name. Insert name here. These people are the ones of everyone else that make me need to come back. I got to come back and see this guy. I'm interested in doing that.
Modern day baby faces.
Come on.
Hey, listen, look at me. All you need is this one and this one.
Oh, Lord.
Fight.
Fight back.
Sell.
Fight back.
And fight back.
Fight
I
back.
will take you to the promised land, brother. We will work. We will do an hour. We will do 45 minutes. And we will have the ride of a lifetime.
And you
Just
think,
let me cook.
Yep.
Let me be a heel. Let me be that guy that comes to your city and burns your church down. Let me be that guy. The biggest challenge I ever had, okay, 995 days. Okay, Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
salute.
Okay.
That's an awesome title reign with very incredible matches.
But you know something?
Go
I
back
had
to that
learn.
library.
I also sat under the learning tree of Mike Lombardi for that. Okay, because I had to learn how to close out a show as a heel, which isn't easy, you know. Okay, it's not easy, man.
Right.
No.
Because historically, how do you close out a show?
Let the fans go home happy.
Okay. How do you send the fans home happy, but your top guy's a heel? When you're in the same locker room as guys like Wrecking Ball, when you're in the same locker room as guys like Brian Anthony, who's a god at Northeast Wrestling. And it's a crime that Brian Anthony never broke out into this territory up here. And I'm saying that with goosebumps. It's a crime.
Guy's a legit heat magnet.
Because you and Brian Anthony would print money. You and Brian Anthony would print money. Money.
Man.
Because let me tell you something. When I finally got to work Brian Anthony, I saw the greatness. And I said, holy shit. Okay, this is how it's done. This is how it's done. When I got in the ring and I had to close out shows with Wrecking Ball Legursky, a guy who's 6'4", 6'5", legit 400 pounds, man. Bad fucking dude, young, full of piss and vinegar, man. All the talent in the world. This motherfucker has all the nuts and bolts to fucking do anything he wants because he's got size and he's got personality.
He can move too.
Yes, he can. He's agile, too.
I love Ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
WB Legursky.
But when I got there, man, I said, Ball.
Salute to Wrecking Ball Legursky, man.
Yeah. I said, Wrecking Ball, I'm not here to work against you, brother.
Yeah.
I'm here to work with you.
Yeah.
Nobody in his locker room can mess with you. But I'm gonna. And brother, we're gonna be Batman and Joker forever. And you know what, man? That's how Mike Lombardi told me. He says, listen, you're the champ, okay? We gotta send them home happy. You gotta retain, but you gotta send them home happy. That's where you gotta get creative.
So, and to your point, right, getting creative, like you're talking into this camera and you're telling baby faces, all you need this.
Sure.
I would say the same thing to any heel out there. If you're going to be a heel, you're going to be a villain. Yes, we're in different times today, but that doesn't mean you can't be creative in how you push that envelope. But again, in front of those fans, the art of a heel for the last 50 years has never died. Do everything behind the referee's back to gain the advantage or the upper hand. Do things and be dastardly, but be creative. Just because you can get on a microphone and tell people to shut up or throw out the occasional foul language, that doesn't make you a heel. It's your overall vibe, your persona. It's everything you do. It's in the way you walk. It's in the way that you move. It's how you look at that crowd. It's how you get in the ring. And it's what you do in between everything that makes...
He said,
Yeah, but
I'm
fired up right now because you're hitting a nerve right now.
But it's true, right? It's true. I hate seeing guys go out there and they're playing the heel, but they do nothing to get that actual reaction from that crowd.
Or they're looking to be a better wrestler than their opponent. Why are you trying to be? Why are you trying to be? If your goal is to elevate the person that you're in there with, if you really want to take them to the next point and make them a ticket seller or more of a ticket seller, why are you out there trying to make why are you trying to make yourself look better than them? And I mean, you're a step ahead of them. You're predicting their moves. You're quicker than them.
So
you're
you're
faster
the
than them.
babyface now.
That's what you're quicker. You're faster. You're stronger.
You're the babyface now.
You're hitting the Frankensteiner off the top. You're hitting the
Number one, bro. Bully Ray told me.
Uh-oh.
Bully fucking Ray.
The Gorilla's fired up. I love it. We got to have
The
more Tennessee
fucking
Honey in
head
this place.
heel motherfucker in charge on planet Earth. Okay? Bully told me, heels don't do cool shit.
That's right. 100%.
Let's look at it like this. I always
Okay.
said this. I said when we're talking about movesets, I said I don't have moves, I have situations. If we're outside, you roll me into the ring, you stand up onto the apron, you step through. That's a vulnerable leg. Boom. Maybe there's a chop block. Ooh,
Or there's a rope.
chop block. There's a rope.
I can kick the rope.
My goodness.
It's dirty, but it's legal, but it's dirty.
And this is the difference between being, are you an antagonist, a protagonist?
Yeah.
What are you presenting? And what are you selling to the people?
Right.
If I'm selling to the people that I'm dangerous no matter what position I'm in, you have to watch the match. You can't stop watching. If I'm selling you on the fact that Darius Carter is dangerous even on his back, you can't even look away.
Yep.
Someone puts me on my back, just because I'm on my back, I might kick your leg out from you. I might reach up, grab a finger. You can't look away. You have to watch. And that whole precedent, that's setting the precedent of the match to make your opponent look better, because they have to really think outside the box to beat you. They have to step up to beat you. Uh-oh, he's wrestling Darius Carter. Uh-oh, he's wrestling Maff. Uh-oh, Shawn Donavan.
First of all,
that means you're getting it.
If I'm fucking with Darius Carter.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Okay, if I'm fucking with Darius Carter, I gotta be a thinker. You know what I mean? I gotta think. I can't go full, because you know what? He's going to take that approach that I have moving forward and he's going to use it against me. So I got to think like Darius Carter.
Right.
Okay, I got to try to get to that level.
Right.
I think like Darius Carter. Heels. 101. I'm talking to you, motherfuckers. Listen up.
Take it to school.
You get to the fucking building. Shut it the fuck down. Shut it down. Stop going to the fucking bathroom. Stop going for a fucking cigarette break outside. Stop going to your fucking car. Stop walking through the crowd in your fucking gimmick after you get to a show.
Sitting in the crowd.
The first time people see you, when your music hits,
Now,
then you're fucking, oh shit, he's here.
so
You're not fucking special if they fucking see you going to the bathroom 7, 8, 9 times in a fucking night. If the building doesn't have a bathroom, bring a fucking jug and piss in it.
Old school.
Make yourself.
How much do you love it?
Make yourself an attraction. And stop doing cool moves. That's what we have baby faces for.
Connect.
right.
Let the baby
Connect.
face do the pretty shit.
Connect. Please connect.
Baby faces. Listen to the heel. Let the good heel drive. Just bring these and sell.
Don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die.
I'll make you a fucking star.
Stay up. Get active.
No, but everything you hit on is 100% correct. And I wasn't necessarily going to go in this direction, but I actually do, because you brought up a good point. And I say this because Matt Cardona said something. He did a seminar somewhere, I believe in Florida, where he was talking about heels not selling merch. And he's not saying don't sell merch, but if you are going to go out there as a heel before the show and sell merch, be a heel about it. You can't go out there and be nice to the fan. Oh, please buy my 8x10. Please buy my shirt. Nice to meet you. There's a way to do it and still stay in character. To me, coming up in the industry, the best guy I ever saw do it on the indies was MJF. And I give that man a lot of credit. He found a way in a niche to stay the most complete asshole at the merch table through his match, but found a way that it was able to connect with an audience to still buy their merchandise, right? Find a way to get over even at the merch table, even if they don't buy anything. that the fans already know you're an asshole, so that when you walk through the curtain, you still get that reaction. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. Everyone has a different philosophy in how they look at being a heel. Me personally, right? We've talked about this. We've had this conversation in car rides. Me personally, maybe you can say I'm stuck in that old world realm, but I'm in agreement with Danny, right? As a heel, I do believe that it's the babyface's job to sell merch. And again, I could be outdated on that, but it's still my philosophy, my opinion. It's what works for me. I just, as a heel, I don't feel comfortable selling merchandise because for me, I want that babyface to have that ultimate reaction when they're working with me. So I feel like if the crowd sees me before that, it waters that reaction down.
Right.
Because to me as a heel, I shouldn't be approachable. That's how I look at it.
I've always been somebody.
You're a rude and prude and unapproachable, salty bastard.
Yeah. And that's just me at home.
I've always been the poster child of no merchandise. People
Right.
asking for me, Darius, and people coming to me with design offers and esteemed places, not just, a group of kids that got together, there's good places. And no, it's not, that's not my thing. Because here's the thing.
That's why good heels get paid what the fuck they get paid.
All right now.
We don't sell merch. Promoters, hello. We don't sell merch. We're not out there with the fans. Fuck that, man.
Back in the day, the heel was paid more because you knew they weren't paying merch.
They weren't
going to get
the
merch.
old school territory days of if you were working a certain baby face, the heel got a percentage of the merchandise you sold that night,
right?
Because of who you're working. Now,
And listen, just to backtrack a little bit, just that CTE kicks in that you talking about with me. Okay, you mentioned MJF.
Yeah.
Listen, wrestling world, can y'all stop fucking around already? Call that motherfucker the best in the fucking world, because the motherfucker's shutting everybody the fuck up. Okay. He went 60 with fucking Brian. Okay, he went 58 with Will. You know what I mean? He's knocking it out the park with every motherfucking body. Just call the brother the best in the world. Can you just give him his flowers already? Max, I love you, brother. You know that.
Salute. We'll give a salute to MJF. Yep. So when I look at things like that too, right? And again, I say it's different, right? And we always say that your character persona should always be an extension of who you are legitimately, right? To a certain degree in my real life, am I to myself? Yeah, I am. I love being in groups of people, and brother hasn't even touched a sip. You better give him some of that. Come on. There you go.
What are you talking about?
There you go.
What are you talking about? You saw it was empty.
Jesus, we're not even halfway through and we're already fucking done with the bottle. Jesus. We're a little halfway through. Anyway, my point to that is, right, everyone's personality kind of dictates who they are and how they feel, right? For me, even as a babyface early on, selling merchandise was just very awkward to me, and maybe it's because in the early days I hadn't
sell any
developed
merch. We don't need to be selling.
But my point is, like, I use the last two examples that I would give that, and again, people can throw shade at me all they want, right? Danny Maff and I, we went and did Crockett Cup for NWA, and it was mandatory that everybody had to go out and do meet and greet.
You can work. You can make that work though.
We did.
We can make
but here's
that work.
the problem, right?
I was most wanted in the UK, but I was doing my meeting.
But here's the thing, right? We both sat there, and we just felt like farm animals that you just look at from afar, but you don't get up close.
Right.
And it feels uncomfortable, right? Because
you can make
and
that
maybe
work,
it's
though.
because of the era that we come up from in. It's the traditions of the industry that we still hold in regard, which I will say is the reason why we separate ourselves from a lot of other people. And I say it legitimately, and I know Danny has said it in promos, right? We change the game just by walking through the door of the locker room. It's a different time, right? Sometimes maybe you can throw shade on me, but I still feel like certain traditions of this industry should still be upheld, which is why it helps people like Danny and I not only get over everywhere we go, singles or in tag, but it's different, right? There's a different vibe to it. To me, okay, I didn't see you. If I'm a fan, I didn't see you at the merch table, but I see you walk through that crowd, through the curtain, and I can just feel there's a vibe about that person. It's very unlikable. I probably don't want to fuck with that person. And I say this going back years ago when I was a fan going to Jersey All Pro. I said this to you in our first episode. The 3 guys that intimidated me the most that walked through that curtain were Maff and Mac and Homicide. Those are 3 guys I'd say to myself, if I were walking down the street, I would not look at them. I would just keep walking straight. That's the vibe I want to give off. As a heel, there should be no likable quality about you in any regard.
Zero.
Because if there's at least one likable quality, to me, you're kind of like that tweener quasi. Everything you do, everything you say should be unlikable. There's not one fiber of that person's being you should like, which means if I go up, going back to your point earlier about Flair, right? If I go up on your top babyface and there's a return match, I should want to buy a ticket to come back to watch that heel get the shit kicked out of him. That's my philosophy. Build that baby face up enough that you want to see them beat the shit out of you. Tommy Dreamer analogy, right? He lost so many times to Raven. Fans kept coming back every time there was a rematch thinking, this is Tommy's time. This is Tommy's time. And again, the fans kept getting fucked out of that until finally it happened. And the roof blew off the fucking building when it happened. Like, that's my feeling as a heel. I don't know if you guys have a different analogy, feel the same way. But
it's a challenge, bro. It's the greatest challenge of every weekend to me is, depending on where I am, depending on what babyface I'm working, how green they are, how experienced they are, how over they are, is, hey, brother, let me cook. Let me do my job. Trust me. Let me go over with a handful of tights and let me get the fuck out of there. Mm-hmm. Not say a goddamn word. They're going to want to see me back. They're going to want to see you kick my ass even more. Okay. How many times do you guys have to face a babyface and the babyface is saying, well, you know, and I'm going to throw it out there because I know it's happened. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And you look at them like, yeah, but you know, but why would I do that in real life? Normally I wouldn't do that.
Man,
hold on.
First
Hold
of
on.
all,
Hold on.
people
Wait,
also-
hold on. I love you. Continue this, please. But
People
now,
don't see
now
when you're
you're hitting a
selfless
fucking
either.
nerve with me.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
You're
what I
hitting a
want.
nerve with me
I'm
because
fishing. I'm fishing.
yeah,
I'm
you're
prodding
throwing.
you.
Yeah. Well, you fucking hooked the
I
fucking worm
need
into
to
me.
piss y'all off.
No, you
because-
did because
you know
now
what I
it's
mean?
hitting a nerve with me, right? Baby faces, for the love of God, please fight. I shouldn't have to lift you up and say fire back. If you don't feel what is going on in that ring is legitimately real and your life depends on whether I punch you in the stomach or punch you in the jaw, that my well-being could be in danger, right? Please. The last thing I want to see is a heel giving so much nasty heat, and you want to tell me in the back that my comeback
Gotta pay it back.
is I'll block 2, hit you with an enziguri, then I'll no-sell and hit you with a super kick.
Who's telling you?
The baby's telling me this in the back.
Look.
Like,
No,
but
motherfucker,
this is
I'm
what I'm
telling
saying.
you, your comeback.
Where's
Right.
the emotion?
But that's what I'm
Where is the
saying. Like,
emotion?
this is what pisses me off.
You're worried
like,
about the move.
If I'm matching you as this nasty motherfucker, but now your comeback is a 6-move combo that you're not gonna fucking sell anything I did to you beforehand, and you expect that crowd to believe me? You just, everything I did to you meant nothing. Meant absolutely nothing.
You have to break it down for
This industry
them.
was predicated on emotion, aggression, and realism. I'm not being mean when I try to say that is what is lacking from today's industry. And again,
The
people want
selflessness.
to people
The
want to say,
selflessness
oh, you know,
of being-
they've said it to me and Danny, right? Oh, you guys are the older timers in the locker room, right? Your style is outdated.
No, it ain't.
Bullshit.
Outdated. Does the crowd feel that way?
Bullshit.
Does the crowd react
I'll
in
say
that
this
way?
right now, right? Just because you're an indie worker and you see a fucking Instagram clip of a guy doing a 6-move combo and not selling shit doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
It's not right.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm getting
Where's
fired
the-
up now. The
where's-
fucking Jack Honey's
where's
hitting
the-
me. But,
where's the emotion?
But the emotion, right? I said this in the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
People buy into the personality, not the move.
Right.
If you say,
What
oh,
are we telling
I
them?
want to hit this springboard cutter, it'll get the people up. No, you don't have to do shit like that. Like Danny said, if you come in with these
Always
two
maneuvering.
fists, right? If I'm working you, right? I could be the nastiest fucking heel and you could be a nasty heel. But if they're buying you as the heel more than me, that means they want to see me kick your ass more than that. So, okay, you hit me with a fucking boot in the corner, you brush my face with your boot, I'm a fucking man. No one's gonna fucking punk me out like that. So what am I gonna do?
The tides
I'm gonna
change.
find that opening
The tides change.
and I'm gonna fire the fuck back with this, and we're gonna fight. That's to me the emotion, right? That's what wrestling was built on. And again, go back and watch any PLE from WWE. Watch the story they tell. Watch the build. The build is simple. It's these.
It's fighting back.
There are times, yes, in a match
Fighting
when
back
a
is
heel needs to hit something pretty. But there's a certain time and a certain place and a certain match for
And
that.
it depends on what their persona is too. I mean, not
Exactly,
everybody.
right.
It's all about if your persona is that of if you're more elegant, if you're
Right.
more upstanding, if you're more sophisticated.
Right.
Okay, you can hit something like that, but
Yep.
that's because you've put the opponent in a dastardly position. You've trapped them in a place where
Right.
now I can get this particular move off. Hey, listen, I've got a beautiful drop kick, but I'm setting it up in a devious way.
Yes.
And you understand that when I hit it. So when I hit that drop kick and I come up and I do you're still booing because the way I got into it was unsavory. The way that
Yes.
I did it, okay,
Yes.
I still got that drop kick off and it was beautiful. It was c'est magnifique. But because I raked the eye, because I stepped on a toe, because I took the head and raked it against the top rope, blinding you,
Putting you in a position.
that was making you incapable of seeing that drop kick coming. Boom, now that I hit it, okay, well, you lose points because you didn't you set them up in a cheap way. That's what it's all about. Okay, there's cheating, and then there's what I like to call infractions. Infractions are things that are not breaking the rules, but they're bending the rules. They're unsavory. They're unfair. They're, these are things that. These are how you, as the villain, can come up with different ways to end a match. You can come up with different ways to cut the opponent off.
Darius.
You see what we're talking about here? Are we cooking?
Darius.
We're stirring it up.
There was a time when we worked.
We're stirring it up.
There was a time when we worked, and I said, take that too. He was like, well, I already got this. He was like, take it too, motherfucker. Take it too. Dissect me. You playing chess. I'm playing checkers. You're the thinker. I'm the fucking brute. Right?
Oh, always evolve it. Yeah.
Right?
Always evolve it.
You don't need
Always take it
you
to
don't
the
need
next
one body
level.
part. Take two.
But it's okay.
Take two. Take me out.
But it's okay. So to your point, right? Look at the two of you and your styles, right? You're an aggressive ass-kicking baby face. He's a methodical thinker. So
Methodical thinker.
the story is right there, right? You're going to try and hit him with every power move in the book, strikes, everything. He's the guy who's the heel who's going to, he's going to get his ass kicked. He's going to find that one unsavory opening, and it's going to come out of nowhere that takes you off your game in a way that says, I had him, but somehow he outsmarted me. And that's how he got the heat.
And it's to us. It's up to us to hold that responsibility to make it sexy
Yeah.
for the fans.
Sexy but nasty when it's taken. Like I said
Keep
before, right?
Those people coming.
It's legal but unsavory. The baby face rolls you back in,
Infractions.
right? And they step through that rope and you kick the rope. It's legal, but it's unsavory, right? There's nothing pretty about it because from a physical standpoint, any human being male who has ever been kicked below the belt for real knows what it feels like. Figuratively, emotionally, game over.
And know how to kick dirt on your opponent. Know how to grind them.
And when you have them vulnerable, that's where you take advantage and you expose them. And then there's going to be a certain point where that heel is going to slip on a banana peel and make that mistake. And all the babyface needs is what Danny said. These two.
And that's why there's not as many of them around, as many of these antagonists around, because there's not that selflessness to give to your opponent.
Right. But
and that's one thing. And listen, I'll say this, and since we're all talking, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? I'll always put myself out there for people, and it may not be talked about, it may not be said, but I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about your move set. I'm thinking about how to make sure that you get what you need out of this match. I'm watching your match.
Listen.
I'm watching your match the night before.
Workers, listen.
I'm watching your match the night before. I'm watching several of your matches to see, okay, what are their go-tos? What are the things that make them definable? When you go to see them,
Yes.
I'm going to see A, B, and C. If I go to see Triple H, I'm going to see the spine bust. I'm going to see the high knee. I'm going to see the pedigree. If I go to see the Undertaker, I'm going to see the choke slam. I'm going to see the old school. I'm going to see the tombstone. So let me see if this person has a rhythm. Let me see if I watch 3 matches that they have a rhythm out of those 3, or are they just grabbing moves out of a hat and saying, well, this works for this occasion because there's 300 people here, and wait a minute, there's 70 people here, so I won't do this, but there's 250 people here, I'll do this. Or are they one of those people that, okay, I see the mechanics behind what they're doing after 3 or 4 matches. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now, before I've even met you, maybe I haven't even met you, I know what you're doing. I know what moves you have. We're shaking hands and you're calling it, and I'm thinking to myself, I saw that coming.
But so
you're building them up.
So you use the right word, to be, right? The biggest...
You got to be selfless. You got to give.
Yes.
Give.
That is the biggest misconception.
Best heels are selfless.
About heels, right?
Catching you,
is
taking...
being selfless, right? Not every match says, I've got to hit my moveset as a heel. No. It means be dirty. And if there's a point and a place for you that makes sense in the story to hit something out of your moveset, go for it, right? I say this all the time because when I'm working with younger guys, I say, what do you do well? Give me 3 or 4 things that you can do well 99.9% of the time, and I will figure out in the story where it makes sense. Danny and I work as a tag team. And maybe it's selfish in a way. Any of our conversations about anybody we work has barely ever been about what we can do to get over. It's
Because you know
about
what you can do.
100%.
it's about
you know
what
what you
can
can
we
do. You
do
trust
to
that.
get them over. I use an example. Dana and I worked a young, really in shape twin tag team called the Kellys, right? They did a gimmick this night where I guess there was somebody that couldn't make it. They had to reshuffle the card. And
Good looking
good-looking baby
brothers.
faces,
They look like
right?
They look like Moose's little brothers.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So tall, in shape, muscles, right? Agility out the ass.
Right.
So they did a gimmick. They did another tag team match early in the night where the winning tag team would then face us for the titles. Danny and I said, okay, when's that match up? We walked around the corner, watched that preliminary tag. We'd never seen this tag team before. Let's see what they can do and do well, young tag team, so we can figure out in the match, how do we make them look? And pulling the curtain back, right? Yes, the promoter had us going over. But what can we do, knowing what they know how to do well, to make it look like they are on our level and have every slight chance in the book of actually beating us for the titles before we pull the rug out from under them and steal it?
Yep.
That's what needs to happen today. I can tell you, honestly, asking young talent, did you study your opponent that you're working with tonight? No.
Do you know why you're having this match? Why was this match booked?
Right. If it's a cold match, okay, cut a promo.
Yeah.
Create a story that's there. So now when you meet each other in the locker room, it's that much easier to put the story together. Instead, a lot of times, Danny and I hear in locker rooms, we hear a heel and a babyface calling a match for over an hour, and they haven't even gotten past the shine.
Oh, man.
I'm begging you here, like, but then these are the same guys that a lot of them will come up to guys like Danny or me, ask us to watch their match, and we give them honest feedback, not in a bad way. And how many times have we heard the, yeah, but I was going to do this.
And I was thinking
but
that. I was thinking that.
If you were going to do it, why didn't you?
You hit the
right?
F5 into the 450. Well, and then, I was thinking of not hitting the 450, but you
but
you
all
had
these
some friends
things
in the
that-
crowd. You had some family there. You said, "Well, I'm going to hit a 450 if they're in the crowd today,"
But
and he kicked
all-
out at 2.
But all these things, right, that we all talk about, that we see a lot of times guys don't do, and we preach about it, right? Danny sees me when I go over our matches for our shows. The biggest things I tell guys, watch the match before you, watch the match after you. Don't repeat finishes. Don't repeat heats. Be different. If there's 3 tag matches on a show, that doesn't mean every tag match needs 2 heats. Be the one heat. Be the one match where the baby faces have 90% of the shine and you have 10% of the heat because you're going over. I give this gem out to everybody out there. Go on YouTube. Watch a match between Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair from 1990.
That was just
It was,
reposted
I
the
think
other
it was
day.
prime
Twitter.
time. It was put on a Coliseum video. That match is literally 90-10. Flair going up. But any heat he had was on a transition. The entire match was Shawn Michaels out wrestling Flair. This match is 12 minutes. And 90% was given on offense to Shawn. But it also furthered a story. It goes to show that Flair in that match, going back to what I said before, because I know Pat Patterson's coming out with the fucking pencil. We gotta fucking take it home.
They're going banana.
They're going banana. But Flair went up in that match as the main heel, and Michaels in a tag team match, and a tag team in a singles match, was elevated on his way to turning heel with that crowd because Flair was unselfish. Could have done 50-50, but he knew Michael's strengths. He knew what he could do as a heel, and he flip-flopped it.
And please appreciate, this is to the locker room, to the promoters, appreciate your villains that are coming in and taking these hits and willing to do this for your guy, willing to do this for your person and help elevate them, because, you know, we will come in and we will do that and we will do the job and we will make sure that there was no,
100%.
They will make sure every plate is cleaned, every seat is filled. Pardon me, like, this is what our objective is to make sure that somebody wants to come back and see you again. And they say, wow, that guy was interesting. That Darius Carter was interesting. That Maff was interesting. Where is he usually at? You know, that's one of the best things you can do. And that's when we go back to, if we're going to do the David Letterman effect and come back to Over, right, and what we're talking about. Over being not just in your area, not just being in your state, your 2-3 states. Can you go to Texas and get a reaction? Can you go to California and get a reaction? Can you go to Florida and get a reaction? North Carolina, get a reaction? I go out to VXS, I come out, I say, okay, some people know who I am, maybe some others don't. They say, hey, we want to give you the microphone, which is a blessing. You're now giving me an opportunity to introduce myself. Use that microphone.
But in reality, do you even need it?
Oh, no. However, I'll take the opportunity. But one of the greatest compliments that a promoter can give you is, here's the microphone. Especially on an indie show where there's not a lot of an indie event where there's not a lot of promos, there's not a lot of talking that they allow. If they say to you, hey, listen, here's the microphone, they are saying, we trust you.
I'm laughing.
We trust you. No, it's a real thing, because and you know that.
Enjoy. This motherfucker cut a fight back.
You know that.
On the beach.
They said here's a microphone, and you scorched earth. You set fire to the rain. Adele.
Pretty simple, right?
That's Adele.
I requested,
set fire
right?
to the
And
rain.
I wasn't going to, right? Fight Factory. It's hour before bell time, right? And they're still figuring things out, right? First show, amazing show. Promoter tells me, hey, I'm going to have you and Ken Dixon open. Okay, no problem.
Oh,
right?
yeah, this was recently.
Because again, right? The three
watched your
most
promo for that.
important areas on a card, if you're placed, match 1, before intermission, main event. Okay? And to me, out of all of those 3, the 2 most important are the opener and the closer. You're trusting me to set that crowd on fire. I say to the promoter, you mind if I cut a promo? Sure. Any restrictions? Promoter said, I didn't advertise this as a family show, but you know what to do. Okay, no problem.
Because sponsors,
Of course,
you know.
right. But I've
Let's
also
talk
been in
about
this
it.
situation, Danny has seen it, where I'm in the ring and the promoter has literally come up to the apron and whispering to the ref, tell him to cut a promo.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, before he gets into this, let's make a point.
Yep.
If you have to use expletives, if you have to take the bottom route, if you have to take the cheapest of cheap ways to get heat, you are not an effective villain. You are not an effective antagonist. If you rely on cursing, if you rely on needing a plant, if you rely on needing to do something that is not universally acceptable, you're not using talent. There's an art to villainy. There's an art to being a top bad guy. And when we're talking about a top bad guy in a company where you can, where you can fill seats. If there's sponsors, and that means PG-13 or PG, can you get somebody to boo you without using a curse word?
Right.
Can you get somebody to boo you without always insulting the town, without always insulting a heritage or someone's? You get what I'm talking about? What is the art of it? Can you get to this into somebody's head and make them think? Can you make somebody? This is the art of being an anti-protagonist.
To your point, right? Fight
It's a
Factory
beautiful
show,
thing.
Martell's, it's on the beach. You're at a bar. Now, I'm fired up. It's this company's debut show, right? I'm in a street fight. Yes, there are going to be times where you can get away with one or two expletives because you're showing that you're fired up, right? Use your surroundings of where people are to be able to relate to them, but then turn on them, right? The biggest thing that people in a crowd don't want to hear, and no one in life wants to hear, is the truth, right? It's the thing, right?
Right.
If you are
he's
insecure,
honest.
bro,
Boo.
I'm gonna
He
tell you
tells
right
it how
now,
it is. Boo.
if you're insecure
Yep.
and you go to a stand-up comedy show, why the fuck would you want to sit in the front knowing you're probably going to get not heckled, but you're going to get thrown some shade?
You're gonna come on.
Don't be that person,
You're catching strays. You're catching bullets.
okay? So there you go, right? Use your surroundings, right? Me as a heel, I'm going to use my surroundings, right? What did I say? All of the people in this crowd who work minimum wage jobs, all you do is you want to sit at the bar, think you're important, and then sit on that beach like a lazy son of a bitch instead of earning your keep.
When are you telling lies?
I'm not telling lies, right? Again, we look at current era, right? How many individuals, I'll use male and female, will use a setting like the beach to take a photo and filter the holy God out of it till you look like a fucking wax museum replica and post it on social media, right? Come on. You're not telling me guys are sitting there doing this on the beach and they go on the Facetune app and they make their fucking muscles bigger.
Right.
I'm a fun size.
Come on,
Fun
let's talk
size,
about it.
sexy.
So you
Are
know
you
what?
real? Are you?
So
Can you? Come on.
I'm gonna get that heat without cursing by telling the truth. That's been, again, I said this from episode 1 when I sat under that learning tree of Jake Roberts, where he said you have to be authentic, but you also cannot be afraid as a heel of legitimate heat.
Right. And they don't want that. They don't want that
And
anymore.
that, okay, I know we have to wrap this up, right? But that is a big thing. And we talked mostly about heels. We need to get more on baby faces. But that is the problem with heels today. In the generation that we're in the soft, entitled generation, the reason why we don't have real heels.
That mic is hot right now.
We don't have real heels is because so many of them are afraid of real heat. Stop worrying about how much people give a shit about you and be a heel. If you are committed to the craft, be the most down and dirty, unlikable people.
Yeah, promoters get
Because
afraid of you, though. Promoters start to get afraid of you, though. That's
here's the problem. If I'm leaving a show and you want to take a picture with me, I'm okay with that. I will never say no. But to me, in the back of my mind, maybe I didn't try hard enough, because if I'm a down and dirty heel, no one wants to take a picture with you. Maybe unless you're that hardcore wrestling fan, and that's respectable, right? Shout out to Anthony Fazio. I'll give that dude credit, right? Respectable fan. I know Maff ain't going to put it over. Come on, you got to put Anthony
I have
Fazio.
nothing to drink
Yeah,
anymore.
fuck it. I'm going to put a little bit in there, motherfucker. There you go. Right? There you go. Right?
There you go.
Here's the thing. If you are a legitimate heel, number one, no one wants to take a picture with you, but number two, you don't make yourself accessible after the show.
Can't find me.
You can't find me.
Can't find Darius Carter. What you gonna do?
So
where you gonna
again, my point of being a heel is commit. My point to being a baby face, commit.
Do better, want better. Know your why. Why? Why are you this?
Yes.
Why are you that? Why am I entering this match against this person? So you can have a cold match. Okay, but add some warmth to that match. Okay, why am I wrestling that person? Okay,
Yes.
Why would I be fighting this person? What makes us disagree with one another? Why would I punch this guy in the face? Why would I dive on this guy? What does winning mean to me? If I beat him, does that make me a number one contender? Does that make me closer to the championship? What does beating that person mean? If you ask yourself these questions when you're putting this match together, it will make sense to the people, and the fans can understand and go, "Wow, well, this isn't okay. Wow, maybe you didn't expect this because it was cold.
Perfect
Come
example.
on, warm it up.
Something, and I know
Heat it up.
You love this too, right?
Heat it up.
Any promotion,
Mouth
even
like
in
that.
WWE
I say heat it up.
or AEW,
Tired
right,
of the
or
games.
TNA, or wherever, right? That's secondary title, right? Right? Think about we were kids back in the day, right? WWE. If you were Intercontinental Champion, that puts you in the front of the line to be number one contender for the heavyweight championship, right?
Sure did.
So if you are a heel or a babyface and you have a promotion secondary title, call out the fucking top guy, right? Why can't you? Why can't you say again, right? If I've had as the secondary champion more title defenses than the heavyweight champion, to me, in my persona, my championship means more than that title does in my head. You know why?
I'm here all the time.
I'm here all the time. You're the guy that comes in every now and then. Again, I know we got to wrap up, but I go back to the territories and elevating people, right? Flair would come into world class, right? He'd work the Von Erichs. He'd work Iceman King
everywhere.
Parsons. He'd work whoever the fuck.
Flair was the baddest motherfucker alive.
He
I
left
pride
his
myself
champion.
on that, man. That's what I'm out here hitting these
was
spots, man.
He left his champion.
That's that pride.
But whoever he worked in a loss
Came up.
smelling like a rose, and their stock went through the
Barry
fucking
Windham.
Doesn't
roof.
matter.
Sting,
Doesn't matter if Flair.
Luger,
Doesn't matter if Flair
Ricky
worked
Steamboat.
Paul Roma. If he worked motherfucking
Bobby
Pinky
Eaton.
Sanchez. If
Bobby
he worked Bobby
Eaton.
Eaton.
Right.
If he worked motherfucking.
But that's the
Listen.
goal, man. No matter what style, no matter what, I don't care
You
if you
work
put someone
Flair.
against the. Come on,
Yo.
put him against a giant, put him against a small guy, put him against a lucha libre, put him against any style in the world.
it.
You knew that you were getting top
Love
grade
you,
quality.
Pinky.
We make stars. Come on, let's make.
All
stars.
right, so Pat Patterson's really tapping the pen.
All
He's
right.
fucking sticking it in his ear. All right,
all right.
we're gonna wrap this up.
I have nothing to cheer,
Episode
Banana.
3. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, let's give him a little
let's
bit.
get him a
He's
little
got a
bit more.
swig. He's got a swig, right?
Let's get him a little bit more.
Cheers to
Let's see. I'm a
episode
Jedi,
3,
that's it.
right? The main
Selfless.
topic, going over, is a hell of a lot different
Yo,
than
listen.
getting over.
Know the difference.
Promoters, I dare you to book the three of us on the show.
Oh, my
Six-man
goodness.
tag.
Shout out,
Hello.
Jack Daniels, Tennessee Honey. We're not really looking for the sponsorship, but hey, if you're feeling froggy, come on this way.
Oh, baby.
Episode 3 in the
Smooth.
books. We're coming back with episode 4. We're flowing. We're getting angry because we're passionate.
It's just
I
getting
love it.
better.
Bro, we're just getting started. I use Danny Moff, right? We're cooking.
Just let us cook.
All right. Episode 3 in the books. We're coming at you episode 4. Card. Wow, I'm
Card
fucking feeling it.
subject to change.
Thank you for the fucking Audible
The
by
save.
Darius Carter. Episode 4. We're coming at you soon. Watch episode 3. Thank you.